Yeah.
because they will be able to handle the ambitious woman in herself and the kid that she's given birth to.
Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to Parenthood, a space where we sit down with parents and talk about the real, messy, beautiful journey of raising kids while also figuring out life for ourselves. Parenting is full of choices, some easy, some heart wrenching. Some we make in a split second, others we wrestle with for weeks, months, even years. And today we are going to talk about those choices, the ones that shape us, the ones that challenge us, and the ones that, looking back, we wouldn't change for the world. I have with me Payal Nath, a woman whose life and work are both woven, quite literally, with care, tradition, and deep personal meaning. She is the founder and director of Kadam Heart, where she works with artisan communities to create beautiful, sustainable products. But beyond her professional world, Payal is a mother to 25 years old Purvi, who's now a strong, independent woman carving out her own path. Payal describes motherhood as the most beautiful part of her life, but as many of us know, beauty often comes with sacrifice, without doubt, with that deep ache of wondering, am I doing this right? Especially when you're navigating it largely on your own. So let's dive in. Payal, welcome to Parenthood. I am so looking forward to this conversation today.
Thank you, Neha. I'm excited too. It's always beautiful to share, and the caring moments that one has gone through in their lives.
Yeah.
I'm super excited as well to talk to you here.
So let's just start. And you said to me, I want to start with what you said to me, that you are an open book. So if what's that book's title and what chapter are you on current?
When I was 10 years old, my grandfather had told me that हम सब बुबले हम सब बुबले हैं बुबले से बने हैं. That means we are made out of a bubble.
Yeah.
And for a 10-year-old, it took, some time to understand that what is this bubble. And of course it's the sperm that sort of, it's the sperm, and in a way, in the material sense, if you were to say, yes, it's
Yeah.
that's and so we, from that tiny little bubble,
Yeah.
how we become who we become. And so I started to write my own book,
Wow.
of my own personal journey at that age. And I called it, it's very private. I don't publish it. It's private for me. It's
Uh-huh.
called A Story of a Bubble.
Wow.
So then, right from as a child now, I'm not talking as a parent, but I'm talking as a
Yeah.
child. So the things that I would see, I would call myself an odd bubble. And if I would see some other bubble who was a little bit like me, and if I had a crush, it would go in my book. If I had some, I was little not the right impression about that uh, other bubble,
Yeah.
it would go in my book. Any new learnings in my life. And sometimes, if there would be, the life would feel a little tough, then I would say that this bubble is in the river and there are lots of rocks around it.
Wow. How profound.
So all of this continued. And then when I met my husband,
Hmm.
now husband, that time a friend, and I said that I met a very special, odd, even odder than me bubble. And then when my daughter was born, somehow I felt, it was a very strange feeling. Motherhood, parenthood, it's very strange. You're not prepared. Of course, you're
Yeah.
just not prepared. It's exciting. You're preparing a room and you're doing this and you're going to do this, all the rosy things. Yes, it's fine. But of course, it comes with a lot of challenges as well. Once the baby does come, so many nights, you have to be up and all of that. But I think that internal feeling, which I sort of put in my book and I closed my book, was that this bubble does not need its own identity. It feels so content. And now this has merged into the ocean.
Oh, wow.
So the kind of a feeling, I think motherhood feeling is it's a feeling. Now, the other things, there are some things about feelings, and
Yeah.
there are some things about, material discomfort or whatever. Now, if your feelings are more powerful
Yeah.
than the discomfort that you feel, I think that sort of aces your, parenthood.
Wow.
Sorry. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think my daughter has always been my angel, my guide, my guardian angel, and I am her guardian angel.
Yeah.
She's my guide and philosopher, and and that's also because I think we've shared ever since she was a little girl. We've shared uh, very openly. When I say I'm an open book, I
Yeah.
mean we discuss. I tell her some things which I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Some people also told me that time as well when she's just a kid. Why are you burdening her with a lot of the your own problems or
Yeah.
world problems or work problems? I said, I just want to share everything with her. She doesn't have to have answers. And this is I mean, I found it that she would share with me as well
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
He knew that my mother is not perfect. She's vulnerable as much. She doesn't know. She's still learning. So if there are certain things which she, if I don't know why she's getting a rash, and I
Hmm.
don't know, and I don't know how to deal with it. And when she sees her mother panicking, it's okay because her mother doesn't know everything. She doesn't have all the answers.
Yeah.
That sort of, I think, matured my kid in a very different way. Not matured, I would say, but she's already born a mature kid, I would say. She's sensitized her
Hmm.
and built that bond of friendship, I think, between both of us as a
Yeah.
mother and a daughter.
How
And
beautiful.
yeah, and I think so many beautiful anecdotes when I look back. It's the best part of my life of, her growing up and me learning things while
Yeah.
she grows up. There's so
Yeah.
many new learnings that happen,
Yeah.
not just about how to change a diaper and how to say the first word. There's so many other life learnings, life lessons that you get, and you grow spiritually even more, you
Yeah.
know, metaphorically also. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
speaking, yes, it's a growth of all kinds.
Yeah. How is she as a person? Tell us more about Purvi, tell us who she is like as now a young woman. What is she like now? And what has been the journey like?
Journey I will come to later, but now where she is, I can tell you. She is right now working with Ogilvy.
Mm-hmm.
Ogilvy, where she's working as a brand strategist with them. Earlier, 2 years, 2.5 years, she worked in their New York office, and now she works in the Mumbai office as far as professionally. Now, why did she take this profession up? Because she's so sensitive to understanding people.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why she wanted to study medicine, but then she chose to study psychology because she says the study of the mind is the most beautiful, mama. And I think, I think biologically, I mean, whatever you can treat, there are lots of doctors, but to treat with just words or just with understanding people can be very beautiful and can be very, so she enjoys that. Professionally, so she took up brand strategy to understand the consumers of the brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's doing a good job as far as work is concerned because she's a very precocious human being per se.
Mm.
Extremely sensitive to people and their needs, either close ones. Uh, One doesn't have to say in her circle, but they know that Purvi will know already
Yeah.
what their issues would be, and if she can. She was known as agony aunt in her school. Yeah. But
Yeah.
also, I mean, it extremely sensitive, but it also comes with a lot of problems because
Mm.
when you're oversensitive, you can be sensitive to things which you should not be sensitive to. So I
Right.
think her journey has been to learn these aspects
Mm-hmm.
as well, how to deal with these aspects in her life.
Right.
So
Right.
now she is in Bombay doing, like I said, very well. She's shining in her office and has her own struggles and her own journey too going forward. But
Yeah.
uh, fiercely independent. Even when she was 2 years old,
Mm-hmm.
She started talking very early, before she started walking.
Wow. Mm.
So I think, I don't know, maybe girl children are like this, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so she would tell her grandmother or me, or whosoever was helping to get her to feed something. She pushed the hand away. Ape ape, ape ape.
Oh.
She wanted to eat with her own hands. She wanted to do everything with on her own self. So she's been extremely independent. I mean, when we would go out for walks when she was a little girl, she would hold my finger and lead the way.
Wow.
Literally, I will tell you where to go, which part of the park will we go. And then she
Okay.
always carried a little hanky with her, handkerchief, and then she proper, prim and proper lady. She would wear a jacket or whatever, and with a matching hanky in it, and then little hanky, and she would do like this and put it on the grass or somewhere, and then sit if she's found a nice spot. So, and I allowed her. I never told
That.
her this is not a nice place. This is not the right thing to do. It's okay, because then you have to allow them to. That's how they believe in themselves, and they get more confident on who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think also because she's so independent, it has its own pitfalls as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What
Yeah.
kind of pitfalls?
So the peer pressure,
Yeah.
the teenage.
Hmm.
And she's very beautiful.
Hmm.
I mean, I think all kids are beautiful, but she's also, I mean, you have to see her because she does modeling as well in her part-time now.
Oh,
She's
okay.
walked the New York Fashion Week and other things as well. And she's just 25 and she's done so much already. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah. So then, sometimes there would be, why is she talking to the boys? Why are the boys talking more to her? So then she would not find too many girlfriends
Mm.
in her group. So these sort of issues, and she always wanted some more. She's an only child. She always
Yeah.
wanted more company, more her age group people to like her and be with her and be friends with her. So being extra sensitive when somebody said something, it
Yeah.
would uh, it would it would not be so easy for her to sort of understand, well, why is that person being so insensitive?
Right.
If you're sensitive and you're nice, you feel that everybody's going to be nice and the same.
Yeah.
Um, but it just takes some time and learning
Yeah.
to know, to accept the people as they are, and do not hurt them back, but also be firm enough to know that this is the distance,
Right.
right? And so yeah, so it is all part of growing up.
Yeah.
So I think it was a nice journey for her. When she went from school from India to US, she was not even 18.
Uh-huh.
She not turned 18. I mean, she celebrated her 18th birthday in the university. And I think the kind of learnings over there were completely different, but
Yeah.
it shaped her. But the leadership qualities always stayed with her. She was the president of the Southeast Asian, Students Association, and then the international. Then she became the next year the president of the International Students
Wow.
Association. And to have the kind of responsibility, I guess they look up to the parent, if the parent allows them to be the role model.
Right. Right.
First, they will look in the inner circle. If
Yeah.
they find a role model where there are others who respect the mother or the
Mhm.
father as
Mm.
much, then they will look up. If
Yes.
the mother is a little subdued, then they have sympathy for the mother, but they don't particularly look her up to be a role model.
Right. Right.
So, so I don't know, in our journey, I worked hard to sometimes be that role model for her. And I
Right.
think my career also, sometimes it would be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my husband was traveling all the time. And nowadays, you know how it is with families. Sometimes you ask the in-laws to come or mother parents to come, but it's not always easy for everybody. They're there. Of course, they're always there to support you, but sometimes it's not always possible, right?
Yeah.
So, so this, uh, it's hard. And sometimes I say, why am I doing what am I doing? I mean, why
Yeah.
don't I just quit and just be with her?
Right.
But then for her to see how to navigate
Mm,
uh, a mother, being a mother, and being able to work
mm,
and have a name for herself. And
mm.
at the same time, I continued. It sometimes puts you in a spot to do things just for the child. It's not just
Right,
for yourself.
right.
Although outside world will think you're doing it for yourself, your career
Yeah,
is just for yourself. It's not good for the child. But
yeah,
how to balance the two, I think is something which I wanted my daughter to learn as well. And so
yeah,
I continued this. And
yeah.
sometimes I would be up till 2 o'clock at night, but when she would come back from school, I'll ensure that I'm there for
Wow, wow.
her. When she grew up a little bit more,
Mm,
and she would come back from school at 3. She was in a day boarding in her
mm-hmm.
high school. And she'd come back and she would see that I'm not in the house. Um, she would take the car, the driver, and reach directly to my office.
Wow.
And she would come and she said, Mama, have you had lunch? I'd say, no, I didn't get time today. She'd just close my laptop. Mama, I'll take you to your favorite place. Let's go today. Have pocket money with me. So these are beautiful joys, little joys that
Yeah,
you've done this with your child, and now your child is doing it also with you,
yeah,
for you.
yeah,
It's very special when you feel that nothing goes waste. Nothing goes waste in this world. It's whatever you put in, you get back
yeah,
always.
yeah.
So it's just like your system now. Whatever you put in, it comes out. So yeah. When
And
she got in her school, she did an IB course.
yeah,
So she was I think the valedictorian is the first who comes, and the second who comes, I forget what the word is. But it was a surprise for me. So all parents are invited for the ceremony.
yeah,
So all there, she was wearing a gown and a hat and all, and she was invited. She was called up on the stage. First in this, first in this, first in this, first in this, and everything first. And I never knew that she had aced all of it. And then she was invited to give a talk, like the
yes,
people who come first and second, they're called on the podium to give a talk. So she just picked up her cap, the cap of the 12th grade IB school graduation cap. And she said, here's to my mom and
oh,
umpteen cups of coffee that she's fed me night after night so that I could study.
oh, how
Yeah,
heartwarming.
I mean, so these things which are that give you the kind of joy that nothing else in the world can give you.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think this bond between us is special.
Mhm.
A school, there would be creative writing, in her middle
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
Uh, so teachers would sometimes call me and they would say, um, every writing is can somehow connect it to the mother. What do you feed her? Yeah.
What
And
did you feed her,
then-
Payal?
and I said, the strange thing is, I'm there, but still, I'm never in her hair.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe that
always
was it.
there.
Maybe that was it.
I was always there. She knew, but I was in my space working from home, doing my things. And she was where she was, and she was in her room playing, doing whatever. I was
Mm,
never sort of getting into her skin and why are you doing this and why are you not doing that and why are you? Of course, I think that's the core. But not to say that I was absolutely oblivious of what she's doing. I
right,
mean, it's
right.
just somebody told me. I wish my daughter's not listening to this, but somebody told me, an aunt, a German aunt. My husband has a German auntie, so she was visiting, and she's got 2 daughters. So she told me, she says, Payal, the best way for a teenage girl is to put an invisible leash which can go as long as they want it to go. But
Yeah,
they know at the back of the mind that there is something, there is somebody
yeah, that's pulling them back. Building.
who's there. Yeah, who's
Yeah,
there and
yeah,
who has eyes
yeah,
without being around.
yeah.
And I really loved what she told me. And I'd like to share this with all your viewers as well, because I think this was a very special Uta auntie. Thank you, because she gave such a beautiful thing. And I think it was really useful. It
Yeah,
really is. I
yeah,
would never tell her put a stop to her boyfriend coming home or things like that. I might go to my room and pull my hair.
Yeah.
But but yeah. And then as she came out of the teenage and all of that, and after that, it's now she's an adult, and now it's a lady to lady talk. It's a
Yeah.
talk which is not like mommy has all the answers. And also I ask her, what should I do for my work professional things or personal things? So
Yeah.
that thing continues.
Yeah.
The degree of the conversations have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Payal, I want to ask you, you make it sound so um fulfilling and easy. I'm sure it is fulfilling. I'll get there when I get there. But did you ever feel torn between different versions of yourself, like the woman with her own dreams and aspirations, and the mother making sure her child is her child has everything that she needs?
100%. It's natural. It's human.
Mm.
It's totally, but I said, I mean, it happens so many times. Okay, I'll tell you now one story. When she was just 4, she
Mhm.
started stammering. And when I went to the doctor said, the speech therapist, they said, the first the doctor said, might need to take her to the speech therapist.
Mhm.
But I asked, what is the reason? Is she like this? She wasn't when she was small. I said, maybe there's an emotional insecurity. Are you traveling too much? Were the parents not around too much? And it hit me.
Mm.
That's the time when I was setting up my NGO.
Ah,
And I was really traveling a lot.
yeah,
Although she had her dadi, the entire household with her, but it hit me. And then I had a frank conversation with her. I said, you have to know, we call her Sana in the house. I says, Beta, you have to know for Mama, there is nothing, not even Papa, nothing comes above, no,
oh,
above you. And but I also want you to know what Mama does,
yeah,
why I travel.
yeah,
And if you see what Mama does, and if you feel that I shouldn't travel for my work or whatever I do, I'm absolutely happy to just drop it.
mm. And she was 4 at that time.
Jesus, for is
Mhm.
putting a lot of pressure on the kid. But I knew that kid. I mean, the way she was brought up and the way she was, she's an ultra sensitive child. So I took her with me to the village where we
Yeah,
were working. We stayed. She roamed around. She saw everything. She pointed at a lily in the pond, and there's
yeah.
one kid in the village just jumped in and brought that lily for her.
Oh,
So she saw small things, and she saw when I would visit, and all the ladies and girls will come and hug me, and then we'll chat under a tree. We will have conversations, and we'll have trainings and everything. So for 15 days, we stayed there. And I would cook in the place where I was staying. In the villages that time, at least, there were no motels or anything. So you had
yeah,
to hut with the village people.
yeah,
So, so she saw the cooking. Mama's also cooking with the lakdi,
yeah.
with that angiti,
Dulha, yeah,
that dhua deke and all that. So she saw. She also experimented. She said it's really hard. So she saw the cow milk, all that. So she saw the life, and she also saw the love.
yeah.
And then we came back, and then I asked her, "What do you think?" She says, "It is very, very different life, Mama. But they all love you so much. They're like their mama also. You are like their mama also." And
Oh,
then I said, Beta, but you tell me, if you don't want to share your mama with them, it's okay. I can be your mama alone. She said,
mm,
no, I have daddy, I have everybody. But they don't have anybody. As soon as you go, they come running to you.
mm.
I have so everybody here. So she's a very sensible child. And I think the sensibilities also we can put in the child as parents ourselves. It's our
Yes,
responsibility.
yes, yes.
So I think, yes, it happened. Then there was once a conference that I had to go to, and she got dengue.
Oh,
She had to be taken to the hospital. My husband was in Germany. My mother-in-law was not in town. My mother-in-law used to also live close to where we stayed. She was also not in town. And so it was a tough thing, and it was a very big talk that I had to give about India, about the changing face of India. It is an international conference, and not very many speakers from India. So she heard me speaking on the call of canceling my tour. So she immediately put the hand on the phone and she said, "Mama, no, you can't not go. It's an important thing for you and for me also. I feel so proud. My mama's doing this, and you can't do this. You go, but only don't stay for 5 days. Just go, give your speech, and you come back. I need you also."
Oh.
So to have that kind of transparency and
Yeah.
sharing is what can I feel break the barriers. And I cried that day like crazy because even over there, my heart was there at
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I mean, you have all kinds of things, but I think as a parent and as a mother, how deeply do you embody, you know, the role of the
Yeah.
woman in
Yeah.
you? Because the
Yeah.
woman in you is what wants to play the role of the mother and the independent woman, lady, for your own identity and your own confidence, external world as well as your internal world. And how well do you balance the two is what makes a woman grow spiritually as well. And I think and the women always have this we more than I.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason I think it's God made woman the ability to be able to have a baby,
Yeah.
because they will be able to handle the ambitious woman in herself and the kid that she's given birth to.
Wow, that's you've said it so nice. That's so profound. I think I'll take some time to process it, and I'll process it later because this conversation flow will break and I don't want to do that. But
Mm.
I also, you speak about how Sana Purvi surprised you as a child, and her sensibility and her sensitivity. But are there moments where you were surprised by yourself as a mother? That maybe times when you handled something in a way that you never expected to.
Yeah, of course,
Mm.
absolutely. She was 11, and I thought that she was getting too much attention as a single child,
Mhm.
and with the grandparents and with all the relatives and everybody, and she was always the center. And the my husband's an only child, and so then again another only child. So it's a very small family,
Yeah.
and in fact, from my side of the family also, she was the only grandchild that time.
Uh-huh.
So super, super, I don't think she was getting um, how to say, so pampered as I thought she was,
Hmm.
probably.
Hmm.
But I also thought that she should learn how to be a little bit more independent. So I took a decision to send her on a trek.
Uh-huh.
It was a hard decision. 11-year-old is not, and that time we lived in Calcutta, to put her on a plane alone to
Mm.
go to Delhi, where not your family, but the people for the camping tour, the bus is going to pick her up or whatever, and then take her to Rishikesh. Now, so away from Calcutta to Rishikesh, and then she had to go camping. And all her friends at that age, in 11, you are just entering your teens, and then they all thought that she was crazy, and nobody else from school was going for that trip. She said, "You're the worst mother in the world."
Wow.
I said, "Too bad. You stuck with it." I said, "Too bad, beta. Can't help it.
Mhm.
Now it's too late. Now you should have thought before coming to mama." And the worst was that I couldn't even call. There are rules that you could not call your child to find out what isn't.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that week, those 5 days, were the hardest part of that. I mean, in my that phase of my life,
Yeah.
whether she's okay, she's not used to, and she had to carry. And when she was received, my sister and my mother and my parents lived in Delhi that time. So she was received later on. They dropped her at
Mm.
the airport itself, and then she was received by my sister. My sister called me up to say that her lips are completely torn and parched, and she's tanned a lot because they were walking, And then when she spoke to me, she says, Mama, I've learned the value of two things, water and mama. So sometimes you take some tough decisions, but in the favor of the child, and child may or may not understand those, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Mm.
and sometimes you take wrong decisions also. I've done that also.
Yeah.
Taken a
Yeah.
decision, I'm not sure whether right or wrong till date. I
Yeah.
can't share that right now, but I can't. But because she looks up to me for my wisdom,
Hmm.
she, I put a little seed that I don't think it's a great idea, but it's your life. You can do what you want with this.
Yeah.
So, and that it sort of she sometimes felt, I don't know whether it was the right thing to do, but she, not immediately, but over a period of time, she did change the course to what she felt was mama's, as per mom's wisdom. I felt guilty as hell. But at the same time, I don't know whether it's the right or the wrong decision.
Mm.
So, so it comes when your child looks up to you as a role model, it also comes with its own perks.
Yeah.
You know, you need to up your bar
Yeah. Yeah.
of knowledge, of being able to. I mean, I think your seniority in your own, wisdom has to go up as well.
That's right. That's right. And I'm very curious to know, Payal, that you also said that, she's a very, I mean, there are pitfalls along the journey because she's so sensitive and so intelligent. So have you had moments where you've like kind of taken those decisions to figuring out how to protect her from the world, or have you like has it been easy, or have you let her figure her way out, or have you protected her from the world? How it is
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a very fair question. It's something which you you're always struggling with yourself as to, is this the right thing to do or not? It's never a clear cut knowledge. Even if I'm the parent of a single child, but like my mom has three kids, and I speak to my mom. For all the three of us, she had a similar feeling, and all three. But it's not that with some experience you get to know how
Yeah.
to deal with the next one. No, but sorry, but yeah. Uh, it's how to say, I've protected her very subtly where she doesn't know that I'm protecting her.
Hmm.
But I've also forced her. I mean, sort of knowing the child is more important, I guess, than to protect or not protect.
Yeah.
I think my child was very precautious and oversensitive. So
Hmm.
I had to sort of make her stronger to
Yeah.
face it, to face the
Yes.
world,
Yeah.
in a way which she can be independent.
Yeah.
So so here the strategy was a little bit different for me to not give the car which is standing outside the house to go to the
Yeah.
school, but to
Yeah.
force her to go in the
School bus.
school bus or
Yeah.
maybe sometimes public transport also
Yes.
if she
Yeah.
missed the bus.
Yes.
So I could very well have driven down and taken her to the school as well. I did that a couple of times when she was smaller. But when she was older, I didn't do it. And
Mm.
I had to hear a lot that why are these cars standing outside? But what is the driver doing?
Yeah.
I had to hear.
Yeah.
But I said, I mean, this is something which I feel that my daughter should learn how to do things on her own.
Mm.
And the only way is to leave her. I'm just, I don't know whether I'm answering all your this
No.
particular question, but also I'll tell you another incident. For
Yeah.
example, I definitely thought that learning a sport helps. So badminton is a single person game, and she
Yeah.
she did very well. Did, she was at the age of 5 she started badminton.
Wow.
Yeah, in Saturday club. So her coach put her into a competition immediately after that. And he said that he later came to me and he says that she only plays defensive. She
Mm.
never plays an offensive game.
Yeah.
She can easily, she knows how to make a how do you call that? I don't know what that sport that thing is called when you can cut the shuttlecock, and so that the other person cannot give it back strongly to you. I forget the name of that term, but she would only defend the things
Mm,
that are coming to her. She would
mm,
never gain a point,
yeah,
just for gaining a point, put the shuttle down in the other's court.
yeah.
Not that she didn't know she had the power, but
Mm,
she wouldn't do it. So this was a characteristic of hers. And he
right.
says, I'm trying to teach her, but she just doesn't listen.
Mm,
She refuses to budge from who she is.
mm,
Now it's also a tricky moment. You know what her strength is, you know what her weakness is. Is it a right thing to teach her to handle her weakness?
yeah,
Or is it just to tell her, no, your strength is fine?
yeah.
You know, so these are tricky things. And if you tell, and I know she's extremely sensitive, if I tell her, no, this is okay, but you should do this as well, I'm
Mm,
putting a doubt in her mind about her own self,
right.
about
Right.
her own strategy or whatever she's created.
Yeah.
This was one. The second thing was about music.
Mm-hmm.
And I put her in music classes, and she didn't seem to be interested
Mm-hmm.
initially. So then I joined music myself.
Oh, wow.
I would sit and do saregama, all of that, alap with her. She thought she was in an international school. It was not so cool to do saregama.
Mm.
And she had a beautiful voice. And she would see her mother singing with these toddlers, little kids around. Not toddlers, but little kids around in the class. And mama is the oldest lady who's learning with the whole. It didn't affect her. It
Yeah.
didn't impact her. She would still go sit quietly in the class and not participate so much. I was participating. Maybe it was embarrassing for her also.
Yeah.
But I would come home and do all the riyaz, all the practice.
Wow. Mm.
Then people would come and, some friends, sometimes family, and they say, let's see, this is what I'm practicing, this is what I'm doing. And they say, Payal, you have a beautiful voice. I said, you know what? My daughter has even a better voice. But
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It's okay. She doesn't like to. Slowly, she would come to me, Mama, give me a harmonium. Let me try. She would try. And then when the both of us went to the teacher after some time, and it was hard for me to take out time, believe me, you at that time to take out time to do this
Yes.
extra thing.
Yes.
No, but I took it as a no. It's a hobby as well. I'm learning something as well. It's fine. So she and the teacher said, you know what, Payalji, uh, Purvi's voice is far more sweeter than you. You can try as hard, but she's so amazing. And she heard, and it's the truth, and it was a fact.
Yeah.
And it gave me so much joy. And
Yeah.
this girl, and she started to take it seriously, and she did it till her 15th, I
Wow.
mean, till her 15th year. So she finished this, Rabindra Sangeet Academy.
Yeah.
She did her graduation. Right? It's called the
Wow.
graduation because you have to
Yes.
give open exams, no? So
Yeah.
she did her Rabindra Sangeet as well as Patiala Gharana.
Uh-huh.
She may not have used it. She used her throat, which was developed now for singing, for Western singing.
Right.
But the fact is, and then it helped her in her
Yeah.
own personal growth in a very subtle way, not by preaching that you should
Yes.
do like this or you should not. Sometimes there are strengths which you don't know you have, but you
Yeah.
push yourself very subtly, gently, and
Yeah.
you realize your own, strength.
Wow. Wow. And now that she's 25, standing on her own feet,
Yeah.
how does that feel, Payal? How does that feel to you? Does it bring relief, pride? What are the feelings like?
Totally, totally. There's a friend, she told me she met her. So she told me, you brought up a princess inside out.
Oh.
So it's I can't tell you. I think told you, like she's like the jewel in my crown. She's the epitome. I feel, I tell her. And the good thing is that she tells my husband, Papa, do you know how lucky you are? You have two angels, not one in your house.
Oh.
And I love this. I just love this. So yeah, I'm extremely proud of what she is and how she's become. I miss those days sometimes. It's when she left home with not even 18 for her
Yeah.
education abroad. It was very, very hard for me. But I can't tell her that it's hard for me because she has to grow. It's, you know, you as an empty nester, but then it's important for her to learn her own, uh, from her own journey as well.
Yes, yes. And let's talk about Kadam Heart a bit, Payal. You talked about how that's also a different kind of mothering and, the working with artisan communities. So tell us about that. How do you feel there with your children there?
Yeah. So before Kadam Heart is the brand that happened, I had an NGO. I still have an NGO. And I mean, I founded an NGO. Of course, the NGO is there and it's run by other professionals in the team. But yes, so the NGO was born. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
20 years now. So it's also almost an adult.
Yeah.
So that child and Sana grew up pretty much together.
Right.
So, and there we have trained so many women, and I think we build a bond with them. And these girls, they still they write to me on Mother's Day. They all have WhatsApp numbers now, phones and everything, so they still write to me wishing Happy Mother's Day. These girls who are mothers themselves now, they write to me asking for advice for their child, their daughter, whether they should. They're artisans, huh? This,
Yeah.
especially one I'm talking about. She's an artisan from Orissa, but she discussed with me, and she says, you're like. I mean, I don't know who else to ask for my
Yeah.
daughter because in my village there are not too many people who will understand. My
Yeah.
daughter wants to study this. But it's not close to my village. I'll have to send her far away. And at that age, is it okay? Is it not okay? All kinds of things I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's a special rapport relation. And I feel, you know what, my work and parenting with my daughter at home, it was both like um, like life happening,
Yeah.
where it's not um, numbers, how a lot of work probably would be. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was organic growing. It was organically knowing and making mistakes and learning from each other and growing. So I think even in my work, it's the same as in my life with my child.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and special relation with them too.
Yeah. And now I want to ask you, Payal, how do you think motherhood has also shaped you as a leader? I mean, having Purvi, having Sana around and going through that journey with her, how it came into being at work.
I would 100% agree there. But I think to you become a tigress, to protect your child, yeah.
Yeah.
So and then sort of you get the strength from somewhere when these people look up to you and they're looking up to you and they're dependent on you in a certain way, and the babies or whatever. And if you don't stand up
Yeah.
and to protect them or to look after them or to, if somebody says, isko ye khila do, nahi, isko ye khila do, but you as a mother know some doctor has said or whatever, in
Yeah.
your own judgment, this is what needs to be done. And
Yeah.
then you stand up for managing nicely the situation, but doing what you know is right
Right.
for the child. So
Yeah.
it shapes you for sure, for sure. It gives you so much more strength to stand up for what you believe in, also. So
Yeah.
your own beliefs definitely get strengthened, I feel so. Yeah, yeah. It shapes you as a leader. And
Yeah.
also the nurturing aspect in a leader, which a lot of times, um, uh, if the nurture part is not in a leader, then it's more dictatorial. Then
Yes.
it's more a dictate,
Yes. Yes.
more
And
authoritarian.
yes. And how is it the other way around? Like, your work, how has it shaped the parent you are? Has it happened that because the kind of work you do, it's so community oriented, it's so, as you rightly use the word, nurturing. It's very nurturing at its
Yeah.
core. So has it also shaped the kind of parent you are?
I mean, I would see the children in the villages. I would see the women in the villages. I think the more people you see, the more you learn.
Yeah.
Just that much at the periphery, I would say, but not
Right.
particularly so much, for my daughter per se. Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
think not that much. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I want to think back, want you to think back a little, Payal. And are there a couple of moments from your 25-year-old journey in this parenting, that you look back and they just still linger with you? They're just there, so vivid, that you can just almost look back at them and say that, oh, it just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think one special tingling as you speak comes the moment that comes to me, that little girl in a frock, and she always had this pony, straight hair with pony, and she would be doing her own thing, always independent in her own room, playing her own, mind games in her own world, doing whatever she's doing. And I would work from home and another room. If anybody in the house or not, she would hear a little cough or something from me. How she would come running and sit in my lap and fit just right where her chin would, you know, my chin would hit her head. It was just that size. And she would sit there and just sit there and then do like this as if she's trying to protect her mom, or, she's. I think that is so special. I even think about it now when I'm coughing like I'm coughing now.
Yeah.
It comes to my mind that, yeah, those are small moments, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that whole essence of this little child growing up in our house and her relationship with her grandparents, how every day while going to the school or the school bus, she would make it a point to call up her daddy
Oh.
and speak every day. It had to be. So it was the routine. So these are small, beautiful moments, And how many children, even in their teens when they're growing up, would do make an effort to call up their grandparents to
Yeah.
share, and
Yeah.
whatever their deepest. Sometimes they don't want to share with their mom at that age,
Yeah.
but to share with their daddy, and daddy, of course, want to do it with me.
Hmm. Only. I hope
And
you're listening.
I am not going to share the link at all about them in this podcast with her. So she would and sometimes we had these conversations on a table, dinner
Mhm.
table, and daddy would say, I'd be talking to Sana. I think about this, maybe like this.
Hmm.
And she would say, I'm not sure. And daddy would say, I agree with your mother. And then Sana would say, you always agree with whatever mama says. This is not right, anything. So she would sometimes feel that there is something between the two of them, that they are conspiring or whatever. They always agree and side on one side and leave me on the other side, the three women in the house. But I think as a family, the support system also, there was nothing conflicting, so to say, in her growing to be who she became.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And if you were to sit across your younger self, Payal, the Payal who was just starting out as a mother, is there something you would like to say to her, knowing what all you know now,
To Sana, to
to
my daughter.
yourself when
Or
you
to
were
me, to
starting?
me,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, I would say that no need to panic at all because everything works out.
Hmm.
You just have to, small things that happen, uh, they're happening for a learning. And if you take them in your stride in a good way, and these will so pass away and you won't even remember them. But what you would remember is the lasting impressions that you've made and the good ones more. So, just focus on those and don't worry too much about the panic attacks or the anxiety attacks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's I think that's such a sage advice, to give yourself. And
yeah,
we all need to hear that much more often. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And Payal, what do you think, success in parenting looks like? What according to you is success in parenting?
I think just bringing up, trying to, understand and trying to know, basically to understand the potential that your child has,
Mm-hmm.
not forcing a child to fit into the society, but understanding what the strengths that child is born with.
Yeah.
And how can you help this child? to be independent with the potential that the child has, and arm the child with more skills that the child might need to be able to, you know,
Navigate.
have an independent life.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, yeah.
and and we hear so much about good parenting, what it should look like, and as I also ask this question, what is successful parenting and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice, or this what's one understanding that you would like to challenge and say that maybe it's not that?
Uh, you know, I don't know. I think that a good parent, I think all parents, maybe I only look at the silver line. I don't know. But I think uh, parents are normally, mothers, parents will normally think what is best for the child, and they
Yeah.
will do whatever they're doing in
Yeah.
their best of knowledge for
Yeah.
their interest. So, listening to their own instincts, listening to their own selves, good selves,
Hmm.
and and doing what you feel is best for the child is the best parent advice that you can give yourself. I think listening to others can be taken as reading books or suggestions,
Yeah.
but not following them completely, because you know your child better than anybody else. Sometimes some parents take offense when the school or teachers or some friends' parents or somebody or the other will complain about your child or do something, and say certain things. So there also to uh, take it rationally and not react, to some parents would probably hit the child or say or get annoyed with the child or stop the child. You're not going to do this because I don't want to listen to all of this, from the school anymore. Or defend completely. Some parents would say, no, my child, be in a denial. My child can never be. My child is the best. I
Yeah.
think both aspects, so it's mid path.
Yeah.
So to be able to hear from the child herself, uh, what happened and what were the reasons for this. You've done this for sure. You've done this. It's okay. It's not nothing nice, but we also all do sometimes things which are not nice. But what were the reasons for this? And to be able to have that confidence and with the child,
Yeah.
to build that relationship with the child, I think is the best parenting. That's my way. That's my way. It
Yeah.
may not agree with a couple of other parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And now you've said that, I'm taking you back to Sana, that Payal, you said that, you talk from a lady to lady, that kind of conversation happens. What part of this life stage that you both are at
yeah.
excites you the most, that you are able to talk to her from as a woman to woman, and not just as a parent to child or child to parent?
What excites me most is the wisdom that she shows now in our discussions.
Hmm.
Sometimes when I'm getting older, and sometimes I might panic about something which I'm not able to do, which I could do when I was younger,
Right.
you know, and or maybe I'm not able to be as fast as the technology is growing for my career, and I need it. And just to give you an example,
Yeah.
and the wisdom with which she handles it is something which is very, heartwarming to me. So I think the kind of wisdom that I sort of probably tried to uh, throw at that time, and
Yeah.
now she shows far more to me to comfort me in
Yeah.
certain things. So I find that very special, very, very special. Yeah.
And I'm you she's in Bombay. Where are you based, Payal?
Bangalore. I live in Bangalore.
You live in Bangalore, so it's a long distance relationship now. So
It's
what are
been it's been so long because at the age of 17 she left
yes,
for US,
yeah,
and then she was there for 7 years, and then she came back to India, and then now she's been Bombay. It's been in Bombay. This
yeah,
is for 6 months in between, or 3 months, just a short period of time when she was in Bangalore with me.
yeah,
So those 3 months when she was home were very beautiful for both of us because I mean, it was, I wanted to come in her hair all the time because I was having her after so long in the house.
yeah,
Small things like the way she would have her coffee then,
yeah,
and now the way she has her coffee is different.
yeah,
The way she enjoyed her food then, parathas with a lot of butter and rajma
yeah,
chawal, whatever. Now she doesn't. Now she's also doing modeling. She has her own ways of
Yeah.
cooking and stuff. And now here I wanted to come in her way, but I wouldn't. And I just had to, but it was still beautiful because she would come back and she'd say, Ma, I'm cooking my vegan food for myself. Do you want me to make a plate for you as well? And I say, yeah. And then she'd make my, something flavorful and something nice for me, something for herself. And so it's special. It was special
Yeah.
3 months. Now, again, she's there. One day, just one day in these last year or so that she's been there, she called up. She says, Mama, can Papa or you come to pick me up at the airport in Bangalore in 2 hours or so? And I said, well, what happened? She says, no, I just feel like having home food.
Oh,
So on the weekend, it was a weekend, so uh, my husband went, he picked her up from the, airport and brought her home. And she said, don't cook anything. I'm going to go come in the kitchen and we'll cook together.
oh.
So, these are, I don't say that I wait for these moments
Yeah.
every day. Uh, I have my life, she has her life. But I so cherish these moments. They are like, I can't even describe. It's very hard to describe. These are these very, very, very special memories which I think I take into my next life.
Oh
Literally.
wow. Oh
Very, very,
wow.
they're
That's such
soul touching.
that's such a touching thing to say. I really hope she is listening to this.
They're soul touching. They're soul touching moments your kids can do. If you with your kids, it's I'm telling you, it's just thinking that it is for give back, then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Laws of nature.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
how do you like what are some of the things that you do together now? Because there is physical distance between where you are and where she is. So how do you
Yeah.
stay in touch?
Hmm.
Are there some little things that you do at regular phone calls or video calls or what are those things?
Only when we chat a lot.
Hmm.
We have a family group, my husband, me, and her, one personal group wherein we put in our thoughts or some things that we're planning or whatever individually, or some nice Instagram reel that we saw that we want to share with each other. So whosoever has the time, as and when they just check it and then they, reply because everybody is professionally in the peak of their, Sana is still growing up in her career, so
Yeah,
she has a lot to put in, in her work and both of us have a lot of you know but we always touch there, and on weekends we try and call if she's free. She also has with her new found friends
hmm.
in Mumbai. She's so happy there, so she has her own plans. Sometimes she will say that I have plans, sometimes she'll say let's chat up. So it's very impromptu.
Uh-huh.
It's not like a regimented routine, so to say.
Yeah.
But that group is we are forever on it.
Oh
Chatting
wow.
any good thing, any nice holiday. Should we make this holiday and send this group? No, ma, I think it's a little, too fairy tale. And no, I don't think it's so much fun. You guys carrying on. I don't think I'm going to join in this one. Or she'll say, and I'm thinking of another holiday, which maybe you guys can join in. So
Hmm.
like that, yeah. So it's like three friends.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Hmm. And
Yeah.
and finally, Payal, if you could share one thought, one belief that has guided you through this journey of parenting, what would it be?
I think it's not just one belief per se. Um, it's just, of course, believing in yourself and what you're doing is right, and believing in your child, the child is going to shape up well, believing in the universe that it's listening and it's going to protect, and we've got our own guardian angels around who will get us through. And also the fact that just your own parents, you can reach out and not, even if you don't want to say the whole thing, you can at least have a conversation general and get some ideas. So I mean, having some good support system around, physically, uh,
Hmm.
to not directly solve for you,
Right.
but just listen and have their own ideas, not particularly about that problem but in general. and leaving it to God and the universe, and believing that they're there with you, and this is special, and to make it, they better make it special.
Wow, wow, Payal. This has been such an honest and thoughtful conversation. You've shared not just your story, but the heart behind it, the choices, the emotions, the moments that have shaped you and Purvi both. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here with us and sharing your story so honestly.
I'm glad that this was and exciting to hear that you're a mother, and sometime maybe hear about your motherhood stories as well.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. Thank
Mm.
you so much, Payal. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here.
Yeah.
And to everyone listening, if this conversation resonated with you, if it made you reflect on your own journey, or if you simply found comfort in knowing that we are all figuring it out as we go, share this episode with someone who might need to hear it. And if you haven't already, follow Parenthood on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps us keep these real, heartfelt conversations going. Until next time, take care, embrace the journey, and remember, you're never alone in this.